Dan Hardy has broken his silence and issued a statement about being fired by the UFC. My name is Rahul Jaychan. This is the Battle Camp. Thank you very much for joining me. I always find it quite funny when I kind of read or hear, oh, breaks his silence, because it's always quite dramatic. And in this instance, that statement doesn't work because firstly, nobody has used it. I've not seen anyone use that phrase, breaks his silence. I've just done it now, tongue in cheek. And the reason why nobody's done it is because Dan Hardy hasn't been silent. He's been quite vocal on social media about being fired by the UFC. But the reason why I want to react to the statement is because it adds more detail, more context to the whole situation. And I made a video back on Monday reacting to the news that he had been fired. And some of the stuff that I said is now incorrect in that video on Monday. So I just want to give myself an opportunity to correct myself and just kind of just share my thoughts generally about the whole situation. So first and foremost, before I kind of talk about the statement, I just quickly want to say there's always three sides to a story, right? So in this instance, there's Dan Hardy's side, there's the other party involved, and then there's the truth. We don't know. We've not seen any sides of the story. We've just had little bits of information. And the reason why I'm saying this is this. I've seen people get quite passionate on social media, kind of arguing both sides of the fence. Like, you know, people backing Dan Hardy, talking about how, oh, you know, this is society's going to shit, and we need to kind of put our foot down, and it's wrong how Dan Hardy's been treated. And then the other side of the story is saying, oh, Dan Hardy arguing with a woman, he's well out of order, he shouldn't be doing that, and he deserves to be fired. And I'm just sat here thinking to myself, why is everyone so adamant and passionate about their opinion? Because we don't have any information. We don't have hardly any information to form any sort of a logical opinion. Your opinion right now is based off of your desire to have an opinion. That's one thing that social media has done to people. It's like they just want to tweet, they just want to comment, they just want to type. They don't give themselves the time to think, what is it that I want to say, or what do I actually think? They pick a team, and then it's just such an easy way of doing things. You pick a team and you know what your team's about, so you just tweet and comment in support of that team. And that's what I've seen with this situation. And it's annoying, man. It's annoying because it's just people that just are just obsessed with sharing an opinion and not actually sitting there and thinking to themselves, right, what do I actually make of this? What is my opinion on this matter? They're more obsessed with actually putting something out there rather than actually thinking about it and saying, actually, you know what, this is where I stand on this matter. And that doesn't make any sense to me. And that's coming from someone that makes YouTube videos. Like I make videos sharing my opinion, but I feel like I give issues, incidents and stuff like that. I give myself enough time to really kind of think about things and process things before I come here and video myself sharing an opinion. And there's a lot of people that are just trigger happy with writing comments and writing tweets about issues without actually giving themselves the time to think about it. So look, this whole it being a woman, so that's the first thing that I want to talk about because it's the first thing that Dan Hardy touches on here. So I'm just reading from the statement here. Look, I'm not gonna read the whole statement. So if you want to kind of do that, you can go on his social media and find it for yourself. So here's the first thing I want to touch on. It was a verbal disagreement between myself and a member of the UFC staff. It was forthright but not aggressive and specific to work. So that there kind of, so there was speculation about, you know, is this gross misconduct? He shouldn't have treated a woman like this, etc., etc. People kind of sharing, you know, like I said, sharing their opinions without knowing the full extent, right? Without having hardly any information to go off. But here Dan Hardy has clarified that it was a work-related issue. Okay, he goes on to say in a sentence, the conversation could have definitely taken place in a better location and under better circumstances. Right, so I think we're safe in assuming that yes, this whole incident is to do with a work-related issue, because that's the foundation of everything, right? If Dan Hardy is here saying that we argued over something specific to work, I sincerely doubt that the other party can say, hold on, no, we argued over this personal matter. It wasn't work related, because like I say, that's the foundation of the whole story. That's how everything started. So I feel like that's where they will both kind of agree, basically, right? So with that being said, it needs to kind of be noted that why did the headline that came out on Sunday, I think it was, why did they need to mention that it was a woman? It was in order to get this reaction from people. That it was in order to get people to either, like I say, back Dan Hardy, or to tell or to kind of voice their opinion about how much of a scumbag Dan Hardy is. And they succeeded, because a lot of people did get duped by that and go down that road. So, you know, I think if you interchange the other person involved, who happens to be a woman, with a man, and that man behaved in the exact same woman as that exact same manner as that woman did, I think you get the exact same reaction from Dan Hardy, which means the gender of that person involved is irrelevant. Okay. The second thing that I quickly want to touch on is BT Sport. So this is back to the statement. BT Sport have not fired me and are still keen on working with me in some capacity. So I personally said this in my video on Monday. I said that, you know, both the UFC and BT had fired him. And the reason why I believe that is, firstly, that was what all the headlines said. And secondly, in all the shoulder programming during fight week for UFC 259, Dan Hardy was nowhere to be seen. So there's two shows that he's always part of: Inside the Octagon with John Gooden, and then like the post-fight review show with Nick Pete and Adam Cattrall. And he was replaced by Anthony Smith in Inside the Octagon and John Kavanagh in the post-fight show. So just by the news and the fact that he wasn't there, I assumed that was correct. Clearly, I was wrong to assume that, because as Dan Hardy states here, it seems that the BT Sport are still keen to work with Dan Hardy. And that was one thing that I was kind of talking about in my previous video, basically saying I found it a bit strange that two independent entities have both decided to part ways with Dan Hardy. And that kind of made me feel like, did he do something really, really bad, that both of them have chosen to stop working with him? But with Dan Hardy saying BT Sport have not fired me and are still keen on working with me in some capacity, I feel like they've probably just given him like a leave of absence and said, look, sort your stuff out with the UFC first, and then, you know, we'll bring you back when things settle down a little bit. And talking of sorting his stuff out with the UFC, this is the last thing that I want to touch on in this statement. It has been suggested that a reconciliation between myself and the UFC is possible, and of course I hope that is the case. I have yet to speak to or hear from Dana and get a better understanding of his perspective on the situation. So just that bit there, it feels like Dan Hardy's reached out to Dana White to get his side and to understand from his point of view why he was fired, because just the tone of this whole statement, I feel like Dan Hardy has kind of acknowledged that his behavior could have been better, things could have been handled better, more professionally, but I still feel like he believes that he was justified in having his opinion or his stance to start with. Does that make sense? So with all of this being said, what I've just covered off, I feel like Dan Hardy is open and willing and wants to come back and work with the UFC and is willing to reconcile and sort things out. Because if he wasn't, you would have seen him on his YouTube channel kind of ranting and raving and just swearing to never work with the organization ever again, and kind of just telling his side of the story. But the fact that he's openly said he's apologized, he's kind of acknowledged that things could have been handled better from his point of view, it feels like this is just it just feels like this is an issue that can potentially be kind of worked at and resolved, and things can go back to how they once were. I touched on this in my previous video. Obviously, Dan Hardy's done a lot of calling out of different fighters. You know, he's got 2 different deals in place with the UFC, that the commentary and analyst work and one as a fighter. So obviously the commentary and analyst work is no longer there as things stand. So I feel like that's why he's been so active on social media and calling fighters out, because I think he kind of wants to feel or understand where he stands as a fighter with that deal. And if he's free to go as a fighter somewhere else, and you know, to kind of just get an understanding of where he's at in terms of his own career. But at the moment, we're still in no man's land because it feels like Dan Hardy's still trying to resolve the issue and the situation with the UFC. So this is obviously going to develop and unfold further. And as it does, I'll make more videos if I feel like it's needed. But I just hope that the next thing that we hear is he's back, because like I said previously, me personally, I'm a fan of his work. I like the way he kind of breaks down fights, and I like him as a commentator. And I'm glad that, you know, the first statement about it being a work-related issue, for me, it clarifies that, you know what, the sex of the person involved is irrelevant. So that's a massive plus to me as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Put your comments below. Don't be scared to hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video. Share this with a friend. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys next time.